Hey, what's up ladies and gents? In this video we're covering 7 dating today I fricked up stories. Please consider subscribing if you enjoy the video. Today I fricked up by telling my girlfriend I knew she cheated on me. This happened approximately 6 years ago. I was laughing about it with my friend today, who recommended that I post it here. So, flashback to undergrad. Things are good and I just started dating this beautiful girl that I had met in class. I was enamored with her, shocked that I loved her so fast, and amazed that she even wanted to date me. The first months are amazing. We can't keep our hands off each other and never seem to be sick of the other's company. After a few months into our relationship, I started to notice some concerning symptoms. As you can probably hypothesize, when I peed, it burned. At first, I just assumed it must have been something weird with my diet. To be sure, I decided to stop taking creatine just in case. But, as time went on, a few days later, the burning became unbearable. I would literally be struggling to stand while I peed because the pain was so intense. After, I would literally lay in my bed in the fetal position until the pain subsided. It was bad. Well, at this point, I was no longer convinced that my diet was causing the symptoms. No, it had to be what I thought unfathomable. My girlfriend must have cheated on me. I hadn't been with anyone else. I hadn't been with anyone else since I began pursuing her. Months before we became exclusive. I was shocked. Things seemed so perfect. She seemed like such a good person. Where had I gone wrong? The thought made my blood boil, until I outright confronted her. I told her I knew she must have been unfaithful because of my symptoms, and asked her if she had similar symptoms. She told me no. I demanded that she come with me to a clinic, that we both take a test, and share our results. She said sure. Looking back at this I feel like a complete dick. We agreed that we would go the next day. The same night I confronted my girlfriend. My roommate's girlfriend came over to stay at our place. She was being nice and went to do some dishes for us. Around this time my roommates and I had just moved into a new house. In the process all our belongings got shuffled around. As she went to get some dishwashing pods, she exclaimed, "Why are you guys washing your dishes with laundry detergent?" I heard that and it all clicked. Holy shit. I've been pissing out bleach. I instantly felt ashamed and immediately apologized to my girlfriend. She took it really well, laughed at the situation, and we forgot about it. Sure enough, a few days later, after our dishes/cups were no longer saturated with bleach residue, my symptoms disappeared. Today I fricked up by making my wife think I killed myself. Right off the bat I want to say that I am in no way, shape or form making light of suicide. This was not a prank gone wrong, or something I did on purpose, but rather a very unfortunate series of usually perfectly benign activities that led to me accidentally terrifying and mortifying my wife. Burner for reasons. This happened a couple of weeks ago. I tripped and sprained my ankle. It's been bothering me enough that I've been taking Epsom salt baths in the evenings after work. In addition to helping with the sprain and swelling, I also find it incredibly relaxing. Say what you want about a grown man taking a bath. I enjoy a good soak. I also deal with a condition called angiokeratoma. It's basically blood vessels that have expanded and cause a few small, albeit slightly unsightly, dark spots, a rather sensitive area. I call them old man spots. They're harmless, and most of the time I don't even notice. But every once in a while, I'll irritate one of these small bumps and it bleeds like a son of a bitch. Additionally, it takes forever to get the bleeding to stop. It's not like I can elevate my balls, let alone put a band-aid on. Well, on the day in question, I get a text from my wife that she's going to be working late. So, I get home and decide to soak my ankle/enjoy a little peace and quiet. It's not really important how I did it, but I ended up nicking one of those spots. So, after cursing a reasonable amount, I start the lengthy ritual of holding TP against it and checking every so often to see if it's stopped. Even after the bleeding stops I have to be very careful for the next few minutes to not get it started again, almost like scratching off a very fresh scab. Well, I finally get it stopped and a short time later, proceed with my bath. I put on my headphones, closed my eyes and relaxed. I wasn't asleep but I was really zoned out and relaxed, until I was snapped out of it by my wife screaming in absolute terror. I've never ever heard her, or anyone scream like that. It scared the shit out of me, and I jolted awake, nearly flew out of the tub. I shouted, "Honey, what the frick?" She didn't answer me. She was in a heap on the floor bawling. It took me a second to figure out what the hell was going on before shouting Jesus Christ. I could see what it must look like to her. I had apparently not stopped the bleeding as well as I thought I had. And my wife walked in on me, eyes closed, slouched over in bathtub full of very bloody water. It took me a long time to calm her down. And I don't think that's something you just get over. Hopefully one day we can laugh about it. But it won't be anytime soon. Today I fricked up by sending a video without watching it, and now I am being adopted. So last Thursday night I saw everyone tagging their stepdads in the Budweiser commercial. Without watching it, I sent it to my stepdad. About an hour later my stepdad and mom call me and ask if I'm hinting at something. My stepdad is like, I know you had intent. I'm like, huh? Oh my god, in the commercial the adult children are asking their stepdads to adopt them. So he starts crying, thinking I want this. Now I can't tell him that I didn't mean to. Friday he squeezed me so tight and said he wants me take his name and make it official, etc etc. All I can think is, wow, that sounds like a huge hassle, but I can never say anything about it being an accident. So like now I'm being adopted and changing my name. Today I fricked up by matching with my homophobic uncle on Grindr. So I have an uncle. We will call him Jay, who has always been very vocal about his disapproval of my sexuality. There is not a family gathering that goes by where he doesn't say something asholish about homosexuality or me specifically. Well, this weekend in between family gatherings I was looking to meet somebody. I started chatting with an older man because that's how I roll. A lot of older guys don't like to show their faces because they aren't out, so I don't think much of it when he doesn't show me his face. We actually hit it off great, and after receiving a few pics I wish I could unsee and sending a few I wish I could take back, we decided to meet up for, well, you know? So I'm at this coffee shop down the street waiting for my man to show up, and you know who walks in? It is at this moment I realize my FU. I've been flirting with my gay-hating closeted uncle. He tried to play it off like a random encounter, but I wasn't letting him get away with that. After some pressing he finally admits that he is the man I've been talking to, and I told him I don't judge him like he does me. He apologized for the hurtful things he's said to me over the years. He kept talking with me like he was still interested, and I had to make it clear that was not going to happen. I had to get up and walk out, and after multiple texts from him I had to go ahead and block his number. I can't believe this guy had the nerve to judge me and treat me like less of a human being all these years when he's a total creep and a massive hypocrite. Always get a face pic, people. Today I fricked up by making my boyfriend a Tinder account. Okay, so necessary, this actually happened in the last couple of weeks. Basically my boyfriend suffers from pretty low self-esteem. Like, it's not like he's too bothered about his looks, but he rates himself a 5 out of 10 at best. Obviously I think he's gorgeous and handsome, but even though I've been saying this for years, he does not believe me. So, for some stupid reason, I decided to show him that other girls would find him attractive by making him a Tinder account. I set him up an account, make him a bio, and just start swiping right. After a day he got around a dozen matches on Tinder, and after I showed this to him, I saw how he immediately became more confident and thanked me for the whole gesture. Cue my surprise when a couple of days later I check the Tinder account I had basically forgotten after 24 hours. And I could see lots of messages sent to lots of the girls my boyfriend had matched with. I confronted him and he denied it, but I mean, these messages even included promises to meet each other. Obviously, we broke up, and out of curiosity I checked the Tinder account again after a week, and this breakup has clearly not slowed him down one bit. So now the Tinder I made for him not only broke us up, but is now helping him navigate his newly single life, lol. Today I fricked up by missing every sign on a date. So didn't happen today, but rather yesterday. I invited a close friend to the movies with me. A few odd things happened, and it wasn't until I spoke to a friend of mine that I realized I missed multiple hints that she was into me. Beforehand, I jokingly texted her about a time a friend of mine and I got stuck in town for 4 hours charging in front of a hotel. My car is electric. She replies, don't worry, if that were you and I, we'd make the most of it, with a wink face after. I laughed it off and forgot about it. Driving home, she tells me about her friends which know of every hidden freaking spot between the country roads that we were passing through, even pointing out a few. I replied, I guess that's an interesting thing to know, with a laugh. She then looks to my backseat and goes, yeah, there's not much you could do in my car, though. I then replied, you know, probably not, and thought no more of it. When we get back to her house, she asks if I want to go inside to get a soda, to which I politely declined because I wasn't thirsty. Today I fricked up by looking at my fiance's location history and found out that she has been cheating on me. Obligatory. This happened 2 days ago. I had been together with my girlfriend for almost 4 years. I proposed to her about a month ago. She said yes, and we were incredibly happy, or so I thought. About 3 weeks after our proposal, I noticed she starts acting different, not having sex with me, looking away/down when we kiss. She had also been spending way too much time, at least 4 days of MF each week, with her co-workers drinking beer after work, driving home drunk, and often pretty late. I went to a few of these gatherings but didn't really enjoy getting slammed on a Monday night when I have work the next day, so I often opted out. We would also share our Google location with each other at all times, mostly because she traveled to sketchy places for work, and I would regularly go on trails, so it helped each of us know the other was safe. I looked at her location one day and it was turned off. I texted her about it and she said that she kept receiving notifications about it, so she had turned it off. Hadn't been a problem for the past year. She turned it back on, and it was off again the next day. She also had 2 phones, a personal and a work phone, which she would keep both with her at all times. I only had the location for the personal phone. Eventually she stopped using her personal phone and only used the work phone. 2 days ago, about a month after the proposal, I decided to snoop because my suspicion was at its highest, and I just wanted to put it to rest. I used her computer to log into her Gmail account and looked at her timeline. She had been going to an address across town about 10 times in the past 2 weeks. I called her immediately because she said she was at the office finishing up some work that was due the next day. She said she was at work, but leaving to go to the grocery store, which she then did. I waited until she got home and confronted her about it. She said she had been meeting a guy from work just to talk and hang out, but she didn't want to tell me because she thought I would get mad. Turns out, she met him for the first time about 2 days after the proposal, and started seeing him at his house within that week. I kept prying, asking her more questions. She told me they had only kissed twice. Then it turned into they had made out, and she denied every accusation of sleeping with him every time I asked. The next day when I got home from work, I asked to see her phone to read the messages between the 2 of them. She said she deleted them, so I said I wanted to look at it anyways, just to be sure. I started recovering the data from the last backup. She sat down beside me while I was doing it, and asked what I was doing. I told her, and the look of panic in her face was real. So, she starts talking about feelings and all this other crap while the phone is recovering. I asked her one last time, before I look at this, is there anything you want to tell me? She was silent. I asked flat out, did you sleep with him? And she said yes. Turns out that she met with him almost every day, starting about 8 days after the proposal, and had sex with him most of those. Funny enough, the data recovery didn't even work, so that's a win I guess. Planning on moving my stuff out later this week to a new place. Haven't told her yet. Still can't believe she started cheating on me less than 2 weeks after she said yes to my proposal, and even more so with someone she met a few days after the proposal. Feels shitty, but I'm keeping my head up. Please subscribe if you like the video. It really helps the channel to grow. Adios.